and welcome everyone to a brand new series that I want to start, which I'm going to be doing recaps of each season in Overwatch. And we're going to be starting with the one that's ending now. In how much is that? In 8 hours from now. Season 3, in my opinion, was a more successful one out of the first and the second one for many reasons that we can pretty much look at their patch notes to understand. The season started at February 7th and it ended on April 11th. So pretty much we had almost 2 months of the season itself, and there were a bunch of changes that I personally think were a much bigger upgrade. So let's begin with the first things they're talking about here in the description. First of all, you can earn credits in the Battle Pass. This was, in my opinion, the best change they've done, and it is that you can now get credits, the normal free credits. You can take any character you want, any hero, and the second you have enough credits, the normal, not Overwatch coins, you can buy most of the old skins back. This finally gives you a free way and a much more reasonable way to get the older legacy skins than getting the new ones. Now, the new ones, sure, you still can't get them the way you wanted, like, oh yeah, by grinding a shit ton. It's still a much worse grind than you could imagine, but at least it's much better. And obviously, we get the exclusive rewards such as the Mythic Amaterasu Kiriko, which I think is a great skin. Next up, the new map, Antarctic Peninsula. I think this was a pretty nice map. I didn't really have much issues with it. It felt pretty balanced. It was built very nicely. I found a shit ton of ways to have fun in it. I think it's a pretty good one. They also added the streamer project, which is a great option if you don't want people to get harassed online. It was a great addition, in my opinion. Then they've added a bunch of new things, such as challenges, silhouette challenges, which pretty much you can get the silhouette ones by winning games. Now, the winning games is in all of the normal modes, like it could be competitive, quick play, whatever you feel like. First of all, there was a collaboration with Overwatch 2 x One Punch Man. In my opinion, this was a great one. I personally got the Doomfist one in here. I am very happy that they made this collaboration. Amazing skins, and I hope these skins are going to return one day for more players to have them. There's also Overwatch League, which now you could get new league skins, which is nice. You could get now team bundles also, that you can get a huge bundle of your favorite team on sale. Also pretty nice. And the rest are more quality of life changes that are pretty good, pretty bad. Doesn't really see workshop editors back. And now let's look at the hero updates, which is obviously the biggest thing that we're going to be seeing. First of all heroes maximum ult charge retained when swapping heroes reduced from 30 to 25%. So there's this patch, which we're just gonna go and show this. Alright, I'm gonna show you what I've been talking about in this patch, about this feature specifically. All this is really is, oh, it tries to encourage players to not keep their ult, or, they could be at 50% and they're gonna be like, oh no, but I'm at 50%, I shouldn't swap, I should get ult and then swap, and you might be playing really bad and, getting snowballed that you really have to swap. So this tries to encourage by at least giving you a certain percentage. And this is just an example. Here I am with Junkrat, 45%. Swapping to Soldier, 25%. No matter what percentage I am, as long as I'm at 25 or higher, I'll get it back here. See, 26. Back to 25. So this pretty much means that if you're playing a game, for example, that doesn't really have you picking a role, something like No Limits, for example, all tanks will have much lower health, and you can pretty much see this is the changes they've done here. But here we are with Ramatra, also got this change. But we're looking at his Annihilation, which made his ult cost much more by 12%, that's huge. And now, the damage, instead of stopping entirely the timer of his ultimate, now it will make it slower. Right, so here we have Ultra Ramatra, and pretty much now, whenever you're ulting, you see, I'm ulting, The second I get to someone, it starts slowing down the timer. The second I move out, you see it starts moving really fast. Reinhardt also got a bunch of changes, from cooldown changes, from damage increase for Fire Strike, and that his Earth Shatter does a bit less damage because they thought it's a bit too much that he could kill players with Earth Shatter if it's direct hit. Roadhog also got a little bit of a change now. His whole hog goes for longer. His ult costs a bit more. Also with Sigma, ult costs more. Wrecking Ball also ult costs more. Most of them had an ultimate increase and a bunch of different changes. Such as this one with McCree, damage fall off increase, movement is no longer blocked by enemy player collision, or, this one, the Junkrat damage change, which I think is pretty big, but it's not something that could kill Junkrat entirely. Ult reduced for these three heroes, and Soldier got a bit of a change with his recoil, which makes him much more aggressive now. A bunch more changes that you can see, and this one, which is huge, that Widow now has 175 HP. What this means is, yes, she does have a way to escape, but now it's just much, much harder. And I think Mercy got the most punches in the face on this season. First of all, let's begin with this one. This is the first patch of the season. Her Guardian Angel got increased to 2.5 seconds. Her jump is now 20% slower. Her healing staff healed less, and it had a new feature that if they're 50% below, it would heal faster. Her regeneration paths have been removed entirely, and now she could heal herself by the healing she does with her staff. We can see stuff that are much smaller, like Orissa's ult can be interrupted by a hack, or things like, using Annihilation while in Nemesis form refreshes your bonus armor, which makes it much stronger and much nicer. They also made a quality of life change for Roadhog that, well, I'm just gonna show you, obviously. Right, so the change that they've done for Roadhog was a very annoying thing, is understanding cooldowns with Roadhog a bit. Now, I don't think that it's a bit of a nerf because they did add a second more, but it's not too bad. Pretty much what was before is the second you hooked someone, here, you can just look at this. This is the best way. So what you could see here is that only until you finally get your hook back to your pocket, that's where the cooldown starts. See? That means your cooldown can be varied, and I think this is a quality of life change, which is much nicer. And before it was much more static. It was much more static because the second you threw the hook, the cooldown would start immediately, and you wouldn't know it really. Wrecking Ball, they added a timer indicator for his grappling claw, which makes him much more usable now. And also, Minefield arm has been increased, which is a nerf. Bob now prefers to shoot at enemy targets that Ashes damages with a rifle. Now, this change, in my opinion, is really good. It's another quality of life one that should have been way before, and I'm very happy that they have it. Pretty much what it means, the second that Ash shoots at a target, Bob will also shoot at them. So, pretty good change. Sojourn also got a pretty big nerf here, making her torso hit volume bigger, making her much easier to hit, especially for Roadhog players that had an issue hooking her, in my opinion. And Baptiste, with a pretty big buff, in my opinion, his immortality field has been increased with the threshold from 10% to 25%. So, what this change pretty much means, before, if you use Immortality Field, you would have only 20 HP that will stop. Now the threshold stops at 50, and this change pretty much means it's more forgiving if you're staying at 50 HP and your team wouldn't die immediately when the Immortality gets off. It gives you at least a chance to fight, which I think is a great change and something that Baptiste players really needed. The most important thing here is, yes, there were a bunch here that got nerfed pretty hard, a bunch that got buffed pretty hard, but it feels like overall the game is being more and more balanced the more it gets these changes. Sojourn was a major problem ever since she was released in October, and now she feels just another hero. She doesn't feel too much of a pain to fight against, but she's also pretty strong. I'm very happy that these changes are here, and I'm very happy that they still keep changing the game and, breaking the meta, so to say. Because if you would look at each season, and you would compare, you would see that each season had a different tier list, and I personally feel that's a great thing. I'm very happy that there is variety to the game, and I'm very happy that every season it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel that every season you would see a Genji player because Genji is S tier all the time. No, it's not like that anymore. It feels like you're always having a rotation. For example, in season 1 and 2, we saw a lot of Roadhog and people hated him a lot. In season 3, I think out of all the games I've played, I only saw maybe Roadhog twice or thrice. Not that much, and I play almost daily. So, pretty much, it's really all I have to say because most of the things we've seen are these types of changes. Sure, there were a bunch of new challenges that they've added, such as the collaboration with One Punch Man and the Pachimari one. I don't want to talk too much in detail because these are challenges, and I personally think they should keep having them because it keeps some sort of interaction for the players, and these are much better events that we've had before. So, overall, I'm very happy. I'd give this season honestly like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 out of if we're comparing to the previous ones. It's a pretty good one, and the changes are alright, except Mercy. I feel that was a pretty big hit, but she's still good. So, anyways, thank you everybody for watching. If you did enjoy the content, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next season.